It's very possible that it would be a forced sale without us having the ability to put the protections in for rates, for environmental protections, and for labor protections. There's a very high likelihood that all of these things that we don't want to happen would happen. So this is what we're trying to avoid.
All of that schools closed down, hospitals closed down happened with water privatization because of water shutoffs.
It's not.
And there's 600 cities with evidence.
Okay, so this is.
Indianapolis and Flint had to close schools for thousands of students because their water was bad due to privatization.
So
let's not make a budget meeting out of a water meeting. You need to separate the two things, and we need to sit down and talk about fiscal, not water.
There's actually a relationship, and I say we've heard the idea it's fear-mongering. We're not fear-mongering. We're not suggesting that the city is anywhere near on the verge of bankruptcy. We're trying to make sure that we make the decisions that we are capable of making now to avoid that from happening,
so
and avoid the negative consequences.
One thing, please.
Yeah, and then I want to get this question.
And this gentleman had his hand up for a while too.
Well, mine was up for quite some time too. I just think it's to say the baseline of this problem started by previous administrations not paying art payments in time and on full, and now you're saying it's sort of either this or bankruptcy, when I don't believe this administration has made its art payments in time and on full. So if you guys can't even do that yourselves, it's totally disingenuous to then say
so we
that
can
the alternative is that either this or bankruptcy, because you're not even doing the thing yourselves that you said caused this problem in the first place.
So I want to clarify, the city is absolutely making its full ARC payments, and I'll hand it over to the finance director. That is something we've made a strong commitment to, and is something, quite frankly,
within the proper fiscal year?
We have moved to the proper fiscal year. When we came in, it was not being done in the proper fiscal year, and over the course of the last few years, we have moved it to the proper fiscal year.
Yes.
Thank you. May I just for a moment?
Ask the question before you go.
Well, we're
Just answer his
answering his question.
I want to answer his question because this is very important. The reason why those payments were not made properly was because the budgets were not set correctly. Under the Alonso administration in the first term, in all 4 years, those budgets were properly set. The revenues were properly gauged. They were not hoped for revenues. They were revenues that were measured correctly. The expenditures were properly budgeted. So each of those 4 years and 2 years from the previous administration, we made 100% pension contribution. This time, at June 30 of 18, for the first time in nearly 4 decades, we completed the entire pension payment at $78 million, while not at June 30 by July 10. That's remarkable in the world that I'm in because it used to take until November to complete that. And you might ask, why did that happen? Because we would need the cash infusion of 2 quarterly tax payments to take together to make that annual required payment. Better budgeting means that the cash does show up in your budget when the cash is properly managed and properly invested and regularly put to the pension plan from the earliest part. Last year we put $20 million in July, $2 million a month, $10 million more in June. We only had a $28 million balance remaining. When the pilot money came from the state on July 10th in the morning, in the afternoon, the pension payment was completed. Even the state has given us great remarks for saying the city has never been properly managed like it has currently. We are doing those things.
And according to the former Providence Fire Department union president, if you continue to do that and re-amortize the future payments, you could avoid all of this alarmist.
Well, we'll talk about amortization later, but I can say this now. If we do nothing at all.
That's not nothing.
If we do it, while we continue, re-amortization cannot be just done automatically. There has to be process to it. You wouldn't just re-amortize a 30-year mortgage 6 years in. You'd gain no traction on that. It would be a cheap way to make next year's payment. Then what do you do the 10 years following? With the city's current ARC, if we did nothing, that annual required payment grows to $173 million in the year 2040. While no one believes that we'll outlast that payment, that's the weight of this pension problem. The sooner you put a cash infusion, the sooner you get to a sustainable level of funding that drops the annual payment. You heard the Chief of Staff say earlier, a $400 million infusion of capital will drop by at least 30, perhaps 38 million. 38 million off the operating budget, which is significant. So it does make a difference. And it's all based on the time value of money. That's how the problem grew so quick. 122 million didn't go in, and had it earned what it should have earned, 7% generally, it would have grown to 400 million, the same 400 million by coincidence that we're talking about today.